I cannot tell you how honored and humbled and excited I was to be given the opportunity to speak to you today. In fact, I was so excited that I started asking all of my friends, okay, who was the speaker at your college graduation? And every single one of my friends said, I have no idea. And so I said, okay, names are hard, names are tough. We don't remember the name, but what was their message? How did they inspire you? And again, nothing, blank stares. Not a single person could tell me who spoke at their graduation or what the message was. And while that certainly takes the pressure off me today, it illustrates an important point. Today isn't about the speeches or the speakers or any of the pomp and circumstance that surrounds this day. Today is all about you. Your accomplishment, your achievement, and all the sacrifice that has gone into that. Those sacrifices have been great for you and for those who have supported you on your journey, making their own sacrifices along the way to assist and guide you. So we should begin with a round of applause for you and for everyone here who has been in your corner throughout these years. I also have to confess that I was asking around about the speaker situation because I didn't feel like I was important enough to be the chosen speaker today. I'm sure you would remember the speaker if she were Oprah or Taylor Swift, but me, not so much. And just as I was feeling particularly self-conscious about that, I'm an old English teacher, and I remembered an old line from a T.S. Eliot play that goes like this. Half the harm that is done in this world is due to people who want to feel important. How true that feels in today's society, doesn't it? People running for office who want to feel important, influencers and wannabe influencers trying to be important, from celebrities to leaders of companies to leaders of countries. They are mostly focused on themselves. In their constant quest for clicks and likes and attention, plenty of harm is carried out by people trying to feel important. Which is why today I want to talk about the good souls out there who focus not on being important, but on doing important work. I had an incredible mentor here at the University of North Dakota who did just that and helped me at a time when I needed it most. When I think back to my last year here at the university, I can only remember what a mess I was. For many reasons, I was struggling with my mental health at a time when no one was talking about that yet. And after many years of being pretty driven, I had lost my way. It eventually impacted my academics, and after an eventual break in my studies, I finally pulled myself back together. But I didn't know exactly how to go forward, how to forge my way back. When I decided to return to school, the first person I spoke to was an amazing professor by the name of Dan Sheridan. As I cried through my story sitting in his office, he was totally unfazed by my detour and told me he would look forward to seeing me back in class the next semester. And he didn't just allow me back into class, he encouraged me at every turn. When I had a baby and had to miss 2 weeks of class, he didn't make me feel guilty about it. Instead, he welcomed me back with a baby gift and insisted I tell the entire class about new motherhood. He was my #1 cheerleader during student teaching and eventually chose me as one of the students to feature in a book he was writing about teaching methods. Now keep in mind, this professor, Dan Sheridan, he was chair of the English department and an associate dean of arts and sciences. He had degrees from Fordham, Cornell, and Northwestern. He was a big deal. But even as an administrator, Dan insisted that he keep teaching in the classroom, both here at the university and at a local middle and high school, because he believed so strongly that was the most important work. Almost 30 years later, his firm belief in the teaching profession and his firm belief in me continues to influence my work in the Senate and in the classroom. In my many years as a public school educator, I have been committed to showing my students, especially those who don't fit the mold of a good student or those who lose their way, the compassion and support Dan Sheridan showed me so many years ago. I am kind to them because he was so very kind to me. I've had thousands of students over the years, and if we multiply that by all Dan Sheridan's students here at UND, we can't possibly measure his legacy. Thousands of students, thousands of lives he touched that he will never meet. When cancer took Dan from us and this university too young, I can tell you he didn't think of himself as important, but I know he left us feeling he had accomplished important work. Today we have so many people trying to be important. What if we all focus less on being important and more on doing that important work? Valuing personal connection, finding common ground, and trying to improve society. Now many of you graduating today will enter professions that naturally have you doing important work every day. Educators, nurses, engineers, social workers, scientists, researchers, and many more. But people in all professions, even those typically focused on profit, can contribute to community and promote personal connection in a way that strengthens our society. And we're counting on all of you to be a little bit more like Dan Sheridan, offering others kindness and compassion with understanding and humility. There is no doubt that you are graduating in constantly changing and often uncertain times, making it difficult to give you all the same piece of advice. And while I often feel as though we are swimming in a sea of uncertainty, there is one thing about which I am certain. I may not be considered important by many current measures, but I have spent 27 years in public education, a decade in the North Dakota Senate, and I did it all while raising the 3 coolest people I know. I have spent a lifetime doing important work. And my greatest wish for all of you today is that when you return to this campus 30 years from now, you will be able to say the same. I know you will. Congratulations, class of 2024. I wish you all the best.